Yo, what up guys? I'm Sammy.
And I'm Lucas.
And welcome back to Patched. And today we're going to be doing a freaking review of this mouse that you guys keep requesting. We did not want to review this because it's a weird shape. But you guys kept requesting it, so we're like, fine, we're going to get it. So this is the Cooler Master Mouse 720, or the MM720. And apparently this is like an OG kind of like shape, but they did some things to it, made it a lot lighter, put some holes in it because that's what you got to do nowadays, So yeah, this is the MM720. It's going for 50 bucks on Amazon. So if you guys do want to get it, we'll leave a link in the description box. So we got this glossy white finish here, and let's get it started off right with the shape. And we got a UFO. Freaking hockey puck.
We got the nice little hockey puck, like the original Apple mouse. We got that in the building.
Yeah, if you guys watch the Does It game, you guys already know. But
if you guys watch that, you're OGs.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, okay. So this is a super short mouse. Look at that. It's a freaking short mouse, but it's super wide. I would say the length is pretty much the same. This is literally a circle, Maybe the width is a little bit shorter than the length. But then if you guys see here on the right side, so we got an ergonomic shape, and if you look here on the right, there is a place to, put your ring finger. And I thought like it's actually pretty nice. It's comfortable, but then like it's so different from like other mice because having the ring finger there, it just puts, it's like another finger on the mouse, and it just requires getting used to for me. I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? And then if you palm grip, don't get this mouse. It's not super comfortable for palm grip because here on the bottom half of the mouse, like your hand's gonna be like kind of overhanging here. So it's just not comfortable unless you have like midget hands. But then like, yeah, don't palm grip. But I would say if you fingertip grip, you should be fine with any size hand.
And this guy is gonna be smaller than you think.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna see the image and you're like, oh, that's a huge mouse. Yeah, it's not. Like it's actually really small considering. I mean, like I've got some large hands, but like it's pretty dang small. So I feel like the shape, I could definitely get used to it. But I was playing like regular games, it was perfectly fine. Browsing the desktop, I would palm grip, and then I would go more of a fingertip / claw grip depending on the game when I was getting into more like just gaming related stuff. But when I started playing COD with it, and I played a little bit of COD on stream, and it just was not that good. Like I just couldn't really aim very well with it. I did my absolute best to get used to it, and I just could not do it. I just could not do it. It's like too bulky, and I would like over aim sometimes because it's so bulky, and I'm trying to like, it's just the placement of my hands on it. I don't personally like it, but it might be right for somebody, I would say. Like if you're an ergo guy, this one might be right for you.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the HSK, that mouse that doesn't have like the bottom half. It reminds you a lot of that because it's just so short, and then you have the fingertip grip, but also you have this ring finger rest here on the side. So it takes a lot of getting used to, but then like I never really fully got used to it because I'm just so used to like the traditional mouse shape, So if you really wanted to get it to work, then you definitely can. It's a pretty comfortable shape for fingertip grip. But for us, it was just like a little weird.
Yeah, that's something I feel like is very, very important to mention. Like because we don't like the shape, doesn't mean it's a bad mouse, and it doesn't mean it's a bad mouse for everybody. It just means it's not for us.
Exactly.
So as for the buttons on there, we've got these optical switches. We don't know exactly what kind is in there. Didn't say anything about it. But they're rated for 70 million clicks, and they feel actually pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty. They shocked me. I was expecting like Omron 20Ms in there and just sort of like kind of boring, bland, very basic mouse stuff. But these were actually really nice. They felt good. And sometimes optical switches can feel a little bit mushy. These guys, they didn't really have much of that problem with it. They felt like pretty solid clicks.
Yeah, I would say it reminds me a lot of like Logitech mice, like the G Pro wireless, but then a little bit harder of a click. Not as hard as like the XM1 or like the Final Mouse Ultralight 2, but then it's still really nice. There's a very, very little pre-travel and very, very little, like almost no post-travel. It's insane. Like it clicks and then it just stops. So it's pretty nice, but also watch out for double click. The side buttons are not bad, traditional side buttons. You're very, very mushy, like as all side buttons are, but then it has a nice little click to it, and it produces out a good amount, so it's not like that hard to press. And then the scroll wheel is it's pretty bland. There's not, the steps aren't that tactile, so that doesn't feel that nice, but overall the mouse 1 and 2 buttons are pretty damn nice. All right, as far as the cord goes, it's their new Ultra Weave cable.
And not just their Ultra Weave cable.
It's their new Ultra Weave cable. So, I mean, it's nice, it's super nice. It's very, very hard to notice when you're playing. So it literally feels like you're playing with a wireless mouse. You don't really need to use a bungee, but just watch out if it snags on something. Obviously, a wire is going to snag on something. You're going to notice it.
I gotta say, usually I don't comment on the like the paracording, but it feels good on this one. Yeah. It feels really nice. It's an extra loose cable, and especially because it's such a light mouse, to see it like not really move around, unless you get like super close to it, of course, is actually pretty impressive. So they did a good job with the cable there.
Yes. As far as the skates go, we got pure PTFE feet. We got one large one on top. We got a big chunk on top. And then we got a little mini chunk here on the bottom. Nothing surrounding the sensor. It's ridiculously fast and really, really smooth. And I feel like that's a little bit of a placebo because of how freaking light this mouse is. It's really, really crazy as to how light this mouse is. Like, I was using this, right, a lot. And then I went to my Viper Ultimate, and the Viper Ultimate isn't that heavy. You know, it's actually quite light. And I was like, yo, my freaking Viper Ultimate feels heavy as shit. You know what I'm saying? It felt like a brick. So this is really, really light. So a combination of the weight and the skates make the mouse feel really quick, you know?
Yeah, the skates on there are really nice. I love how they have those rounded edges. It just really gives you a really smooth and consistent glide. So I don't think it can all be attributed to weight, although it definitely does get it some points as far as that goes. But they're super, super smooth. Great job on the skates. They really knocked it out of the park there.
So they advertised the weight of this mouse as 49 grams, which is insanely light. And I will check it on the scale. 53 grams. You freaking lie to us, man. Well, 51 grams. It's around there, 51 grams. So yeah, super duper light. I was very, very surprised as to how light this was, because it's like, although it is small, like lengthwise, it's like pretty like wide, you know, so it doesn't look like it's gonna be light, but then like holy crap, you know?
And that's also like a good segue into the next section, because a light mouse, if it gets too light, it can feel very cheap. But moving on to build quality and durability, this actually really feels very premium in the hand. It feels very nice, especially with the glossy finish on there. It just feels very, very premium, very sturdy. Like I know they had quality control issues with the MM710, the first couple batches of those. This feels very, very sturdy. There's no creaking or anything like that on there. It's very sturdy, and it's just a very nice mouse all around.
Yes, and this white finish, I like the glossy finish, but something like if you get like a black color, you can see everything, right? So if you get the white one, it's a lot harder to see like oil marks and fingerprint marks. So I suggest getting the white glossy if you want a glossy finish. And also, I guess, I mean, they did add holes, which is like, but then like it's on the bottom of the mouse. You know what I'm saying? It's not where like your fingers are, and that's where I don't like to feel the holes. So that's actually pretty nice, especially like if you're fingertip gripping, you're never gonna feel the holes because your palm's really never gonna touch the bottom of the mouse. So I feel like that's a pretty good design as like where they kept the holes here on the mouse.
So as for the sensor on there, we actually had to do some research to get this, but it's the 3389 on there, and it feels very fast, very responsive, no complaints there. But I do want to know again on the holes. It is funny, they do like little like Cooler Master logos instead of just regular holes. So I think that's, I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. And it is definitely smaller holes than most mice have. They're usually pretty large. This one isn't too bad to have your hand up against them. Again, they really won't be up against them that often.
And here on the bottom of the mouse, we have a DPI button. So if you want to change the DPI on the fly, you can do that. And as far as the RGB goes, there's RGB here on the bottom of the mouse, and it glows through these holes. It's pretty dope. And then the scroll wheel glows as well. So if you press the DPI button, it changes the color of the scroll wheel, and then you can tell what DPI step you're on, which is really cool.
So all in all, I would say that Cooler Master is showing their diligence with their craftsmanship over the past year, because I know they had issues originally with the MM710. They eventually fixed up all of those. They got this guy out there, and this guy feels really good, very polished. It's a well-made mouse. I would just say the shape personally is not for me, but if you're an ergo guy, you might like something like this.
Yes, I would say the same thing. Like everything about this mouse is great. You know, the weight, the buttons, the cord, the skates, all of that is nice. But then like the shape is pretty subjective, and for us, the shape wasn't like our favorite. But then if you want to try it out, you definitely should. Just keep in mind this ring finger placement thing, you know. But other than that, I feel like, you know, it's a great mouse. You just have to get used to the shape. But anyways, that about concludes our review of the Cooler Master Mouse 720. It's going for 50 bucks, and if you guys want to cop, we'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you in the next one.